Now that we have the minimal or skeletal application for our application, let us continue to develop our fraction library following the concept of object-oriented programming. Let us get started. That is the solution file. Open it. Now we want to create a dynamic link library that finally will create the .dll file. What we want to do is to add a new project under the solution. Click the top name here or the top row, right click and then add. We want to add a new project under the same solution. And we filter the templates using C# as the language, Windows as the platform, and for the project type, we choose library. We will get two class library template. This is one, and this is one. But the first one, this one is not the one that we are looking for because this is a .NET Core because it's meant for Android, Linux, Mac OS, and also Windows. We are only creating our project for Windows, which is this one. This is the actual .NET framework. Choose this one. Next, and let us name our project for the library as fraction, and then click create. All right. We have our first class. By default, it is given the name class 1. This is not what we want. And also the file name is class 1. Let us rename this to the few files that we want to create to split the function class across a few files. The first file is, remember, the constructor that will keep the field name and the constructors. So let us call this constructors. And if you realize it is a plural, which means we will make a few constructors, overloaded constructors. So when you change the file name, the class name also change, which still not what we want. We want the class name as fraction, and it is partial class, or this file will contain only a partial part of the class function, fraction. So save this one, and then we want to create 3 more files. Remember, the operators, methods, and the setter and getter. We add these .cs files under the same project. How? We right click on the fraction, we right click on the project name instead of solution name, right click on project name, then add. We want to add new item. It is .cs item. This second one we want to call it methods. There will be many methods, so it is plural also. And next one is setter and getter, set get. The last one for now is operators. Reopen the constructors. This one is the one that we name it properly with the proper content. We copy the entire content of constructor.cs, copy, and then we paste into the other 3 .cs so that they have all the same content. Save it, set get also, and operators, and then save everything. All right, now we have all the file that we want. First, let us put the content for constructors, which is the field. There are two fields, numerator and denominator. It should be private, remember. And both numerator and denominator are supposed to be integer. Why they are both supposed to be integer? Because it is the definition by mathematics. The numerator and denominator of a fraction both have to be integer. So we call it num in this case. We put underscore to tell that this is a field, not a property. Do the same for denominator. Alright, so that is the field. Next is the constructor. The first constructor, of course, the constructors should be public. The first one is the constructor that does not receive any parameter. Later we will create more constructors that receive some parameter, but for now the constructor is not receiving anything. So if the constructor is not receiving anything, we just initialize numerator and denominator to some sensible value like 0. We instantiate the fraction to a fraction of 0. So what is the fraction of 0? The numerator has to be 0, right? And the denominator cannot be 0 because if the denominator is 0, something divided by 0 is infinity, it's not 0. And if numerator is 0, divided by 0 also, it is mathematically undefined, which is illegal. So the best value for denominator by default is 1, because anything divided by 1 is the same thing, and 0 divided by anything is 0. So this basically gives a fraction of 0. All right? Save and rebuild. All right? Setter and getter. We will need setter and getter for numerator and denominator. They have to be, of course, public. The same type as the field. The first one is numerator. Now we spell it completely. And the function for it. Remember that setter and getter are only functions that work entirely on the field. So first one is the setter for numerator. Set, we just want to take the value given into numerator, underscore num assigned with the value given, and the getter is to return whatever in num. Do the same for denominator. Don't forget to edit it if you copy and paste. Save it, rebuild. Okay, we are still on the right path. Then operators is later when we start doing overloaded operator. Then next is the first two methods that we want to create. The first one is the one that give out, okay, methods normally are public, give out the value of the fraction as decimal, so it has to be double, to double, receive no parameter, we need to return the actual value of the numerator divided by the denominator. That is for 2 double. Then to get the integer part, we actually do the same division, but now we want to cast the entire division into integer so that we get the integer part of the fraction. Alright, hope this works. We compile again. Everything is still okay. So remember that this is a dynamic link library. It cannot run by itself. It needs some host program to include it, call it, and do something on it. So the fastest way to do that is using a console driver program. This driver program need to add the DLL, this DLL, okay, this DLL, need to refer to this DLL, or what I mean here is to put this fraction as one of the listed references under the project. Alright, so what we need to do, okay, you can select the console test driver program, right click on the references, you need to add reference. Now you need to browse, look for that fraction.dll. For my case, I already get the file there, but let's say you started with different folder, you can find the same, you can find the DLL following the same path name that we created before. Alright, so add reference, browse, you get the file, edit, and then click OK. Make sure you can see the fraction, the .dll is listed under references. Then we go to the program, which is this one. Adding it here is not enough. We need to add the namespace using fraction. Right? So now only we can refer to the class in fraction namespace. Let us do something. What we want to do, we want to instantiate a fraction. So fraction. Okay, there is a slight problem here. When I type fraction, I meant to refer to the fraction class that we define here. But it looks like when I type fraction here, it is referring to sorry, when I type fraction in this case, it's referring to the namespace, not to the class. We will fix this later, but for now let us continue with this. So we need to put fraction dot fraction. Why? Because the first fraction refers to the namespace, the second fraction refers to the class. Alright, we will fix this later. So we instantiate a frac. This is the object of the class fraction. Assign with new, the keyword new, remember, will trigger the constructor of the fraction. And again, still, we need to use fraction.fraction to trigger the constructor, because still we need to resolve the fraction name, which fraction we are referring to. Alright, so we have the object. Then let us do some value changing. So a frac. Now we change the numerator. You see the class member, just now denominator and numerator, also to double and two integer are already listed under this IntelliSense. Alright, so we want to change the numerator first. Now we want to put numerator as 4, and then denominator I want to make it 5. So this is a fraction of 4 over 5. Alright, so let us make a console print of that fraction. So what we want to print? We want to print a frac is placeholder in decimal. Alright, so this is placeholder with index 0, referring to a frac dot to double. Alright, save it, rebuild, and then run. It's supposed to give us, oops, this is wrong. It's supposed to give us 0.8. 4 over 5 is 0.8 in decimal, not 0. So we need to fix this also, and don't forget that we need to fix the clashing name of namespace and class name. Alright, first let us fix the class name. So we go back to the constructors.cs. Instead of calling the space name fraction, which will clash with the class name, we rename it to something else like library, class library. So it's not clashing anymore. And save it. Methods, also the same thing. Set get, also the same thing. Operators, also the same thing. And when we go back to program.cs, now we can see there's an error here. Fraction is no longer a namespace, it is a class. So the namespace now is fraction library. Alright, so now this phrase is also incorrect already, because there is no fraction namespace, it's only fraction class. Save it, rebuild, still okay. Then let us run. Everything's okay except we haven't fixed the 2 decimal. Alright, I know the reason. The reason is because, like in C and C++, when we divide two integer, the result is always integer, and the decimal part will be dropped. So to make this division a floating point division, we need to cast at least one of them, either num or denum, into double. So normally we cast underscore num to double, and let us put everything in a big bracket like that. And if you realize here, this one is also integer, will also give us an integer, so the casting of integer here is not necessary. This is already integer. Alright, so I save already, rebuild, and then run. Alright, now we get 0.8. Alright, so now maybe it's a good time for us to put the XML documentation. Where do we want to put it? We want to put it on the 2 double and 2 integer methods. The operators, not yet. Set get, no need documentation, because the name and the nature of the coding already tell us that this is what we want to do. So if it is clear by inspection, documentation is not necessary. documentation should be put where it is needed. So the same to constructors. So let us put the XML documentation in the methods. Okay, so we have two methods here. Just put our cursor at the line before the method. The method here is on line 12. Put the cursor at line 11. This one reference, this is what is just an indicator, not a content. It's not occupying any line. You see there's a gap here. So on this line, put a triple slash 123. Then Visual Studio will auto generate for you the content of the XML documentation. You should give the brief summary about the method and also what it returns if something is written. All right, so a brief description for this one is this one converts the fraction to the equivalent decimal value. And what does it return? It returns the equivalent decimal value. Do the same thing for to int. This one is gives the integer part of the fraction, especially if the fraction, if the numerator is larger than the denominator, and the return is the integer part of the fraction. That is it. To put this into effect, we need to rebuild. And the good thing is that when we play around with the fraction, now we can see the effect of putting that XML documentation. Let us change the fraction again. Now we put numerator as 5 and denominator as 4. This is a fraction of 5/4. This one, the decimal, the call to two double method should give 1.25, and if we call the two integer, this one should give us 1. So a frac has has S integer part. Let's see. Okay, what I wanted to show just now is that now if we put a dot after the object name, and we can see, like just now, we can see all the member that we created. Now the two double method that we give XML documentation just now, now the documentation is given in the IntelliSense. Okay, we misspell something. Let us correct the spelling. And also, we can see the documentation on the two integer also. All right. So that is it. Save it, rebuild, run. Okay. As expected, we get 1.25 as decimal value and integer part is 1. Let us check something. If let's say the decimal value is more than 0.5, will the integer part be rounded up? That is not supposed to be done. Okay, let us test that condition. So copy this one. Let us now have something like 1.75, which is 7/4, right? So numerator is 5, denominator stay the same. You don't have to assign, but leave it there. So decimal value has to be 1.75, and let us see if this change to 2. It's not supposed to change to 2, it's supposed to stay with 1. If 2, then the answer is wrong. Review, run. Oops, this one is not edited. Run. Okay, so decimal value is 175. The integer part is not rounded up, even though 0.75 is more than 0.5. Okay, so that is cool. Okay, so that is all for now. We are going to progressively improve or add more code to this project.